On China's southeast coast, just across a narrow strait, lies the outline of Taiwan. For over a century, these waters have never truly been still. Here, one city has been both a harbor for daily life and a front line in history's shifting tides. Its name is Amoy.
那30块左右可以吗？哈，先试试看哈，不够再说哈。还有什么？是哪个面？我们家是泡面的，这个手工面最特色。你要那就要手工面吧。
Night is when this city truly wakes, while most places are quieting down. Zhongshan Road is just beginning to glow, its lights flipping open a new chapter in the life of the city. The pungent, irresistible aroma of pickled bamboo shoots drifts through the air. It's the kind of smell that can unlock the gates to Amoy's night. Alive, fragrant, and impossible to forget. For locals, no map of Amoy's old flavors would be complete without one name, the 8th Market. A 100 years ago, there were 9 such markets on Amoy Island, each named simply by number, like vertebrae in the city's spine. Time wore most of them away, but the 8th survived, so people simply called it the 8th Market.
巴士那个最有名的一家五香卷，阿杰五香。看看。
Surviving, though, wasn't enough. It had to keep reinventing itself. When the heat of the day is finally cooled by sea breeze, Zhongshan Road bursts into life. Neon signs hang beneath century-old eaves, and street slogans mix poetry with the scent of frying oil. It's the oldest market in Amoy, and somehow one of its newest lifestyles.
多少钱
10块钱。
啊？名小吃，对，麻糍很地道，这个。有点流口水了啊！看起来很好吃啊。
Walking under the weathered brick of its old arcades, you're moving across the grain of history, and yet you can smell the present in the steam. Here, the new and the old don't fight each other. They keep each other alive.
好嘞，好嘞，然后樱桃来一点。
In China's coastal south, people have a habit of awakening their taste buds in unusual ways. One local favorite is called 酸盐, literally sour pick. Chili and tropical fruit mixed together into something both fierce and bright. The kind of taste that makes your mouth tighten and your forehead bead with sweat. It's like the market itself, unapologetically alive. But the 8th Market isn't only about the bowl. Deep in the alleys, you'll find a bowl of tofu pudding. Simple, quiet, and deeply local.
加小肠套小肠。豆花粉丝是哪里的吃的？哦，要一点点辣。估计就是这个附近的这个街坊，巷子里住的街坊吃吧，应该是。汉朝的时候，这个淮南王刘安将母亲最爱的黄豆磨成浆，凝固之后，然后加上石膏，才成为今天的豆花。这个叫豆花粉丝，哇塞，这是我第一次吃，福建漳州的一道这个汉族的这个小吃啊，但是它也是闽菜，里面加了很多东西， 油条。小肠包小肠，我觉得是中和了南北的口味，就是既有那个北方那个咸卤的那个老豆腐那个味儿，又有南方的那个甜口。豆花粉丝是8元起，然后再加各种料，单独加钱。然后这个冰镇豆花是10块钱，我去这一大碗，看，咸的甜的都有，对吧？都不贵，都特别便宜。食物就是各种创新和这个各种融合，才能形成美食啊，搭配也很重要。
The kind of food that has nothing to prove, and so proves everything. When the market's heat is still lingering on your tongue, the tide somewhere else is pushing moonlight into shore. A natural curve of water sketches a crescent moon, and there it is, Amoy. Once, it was the cradle where fishing boats returned each night, lanterns on the water, wood smoke on the shore, the original heartbeat of Amoy. In 2015, the last fishing boat slipped away quietly, ending an era of harbor life. But Amoy didn't fade, it just changed.
What 到底发生了什么呀？不是，这下边站了得有好几百人，他们到底在看什么呀？这是？
他可能在上面还看这底下这帮傻子。
Old vendors kept their traditional recipes. Newcomers brought tastes for a new generation, and slowly the night lit up again, this time by a crowd of young people.
那个小汤匙在那边好。
好，忽忽悠悠的。怎么卖啊？蟹黄汤包是厦门特产吗？你是厦门人吗？您是土霸呀？
这个是上吊。
啊，特意来吃的我们。
领导。
In Amoy, the street vendors aren't just selling food, they're carrying the city's spirit. They are the living proof of a certain kind of warmth, one that keeps life flavorful and people close.
等于是您儿子给起的名字，就是您姓什么？姓这个？
姓喜，金林的金，土地的土。
金林的金，土地的土，姓喜。
他都比较亲。
金土，然后您儿子说就直接叫土爸爸，
赶紧叫我叫土爸。
这都快成厦门特色小吃了。
对，厦门这个附近，所以说这现在这个附近的都很专门冲着我的李基友来吃的，我就是认出名了。
以后有机会来找您喝茶。
好，好，你来了我就认识。
In the DNA of this old fishing port, a new kind of street life has been born. The bones are old. The skin is new. Here, art and life share the same streets, where tradition slips easily into the modern.
还有什么？小腿，没下酒。好。
一家深夜食堂小店，晚上吃一个类似于打冷啊。一盘牦牛舌啊，真不错。那晚上饿了，吃一碗泡面就是很香。
As the night deepens, Chapoe has no interest in sleeping. Seafood stalls fill with locals, talking about the city as if it were family.
这边气候也好，
对，
夏天可能就热了，
对，
然后不能算是冬暖夏凉吧，冬天是肯定没有像北方那么冷。
做清蒸的才是原汁原味。
对，
好嘞，来清蒸波龙。
哦，清蒸波龙来一只。
对，
你看大姐说的，不可能是翘的哦。椒盐来2下，开吃吧。
这边之前是个避风屋、避风港。
厦门的小香港，以前那说什么杀外地人啊，现在已经改了很多了。
嗯，
那是外地人杀外地人。
对。
现在是本地人。
Amoy is full of people who take life seriously, seriously enough to make it worth living. Chapoe feels like a shared courtyard. The warmth is hidden in the steam, and even strangers are pulled into the circle. Here, coexistence isn't a slogan, it's just how life works.
见识到厦门人的热情了，真的。
在这里了，
对，
我们3个都是本
对，我遇到厦门真正的厦门人。
你说他厦门的店，然后外地人的经营就不一样。
是理解，明白。
好，谢谢。
行，感谢，拥抱一下啊！下回咱们到厦门还见啊！下回还来几位大哥，欢迎你啊！下回我们来厦门第一站就来这里了，来吃饭好，谢谢大姐，拥抱一下啊！走了哈，谢谢。
Not far from Chapoe, the bustle of street markets begins to fade, replaced by tree-lined avenues and the calm shimmer of a lake. This is Amoy University, a campus that sits with the sea at its front and green hills at its back. For generations, it has been one of China's most cherished cultural landmarks, a place where the nation's softer spirit takes root. 酒馆的门口，
天乐雪，国内也挺不好意思，看看全在这学习的。
Amoy University, often called one of the most beautiful universities in China, is where the city's soul is planted, gentle but unshakably strong. There's a saying here. No student should have to go hungry to get an education. Rice in the cafeteria is free, a small gesture. But when a grain of rice carries the weight of educational equality, the cafeteria becomes a quiet temple of learning.
用半份这个肉片，行，一份也可以。再给我来点那个宫保鸡丁，要鱼丸，
还有呢？
要包菜，还有那个豆角。
微信15块。
西瓜这么吃还头一次。
You can't speak of Amoy University without mentioning its founder, Tan Kaki, a businessman and philanthropist, known as the banner of overseas Chinese and the shining light of the nation, he built this seaside campus over a century ago, pouring in his fortune from Southeast Asian trade. Its motto, "Pursue excellence, strive for self-improvement," is both a promise to every student who enters and to the city itself. Because of this cultural soil, youth here doesn't just dream of far horizons, it learns how to stand firm in the present. If the university is Amoy's soul, then its iron spine lies just down the coast at Hulishan Fortress. Here, granite gun emplacements have faced the sea for more than a century. On a clear day, you can see the outline of Kinmen Island, just across the narrow strait. Hulishan holds the world's largest surviving 19th century coastal cannon, and on September 3, 1937, its roar sank a Japanese warship, marking the first naval victory for China in the Second Sino-Japanese War. Standing here, you feel the weight of history in the salt air, and the way this city has learned to turn even the hardest memories into something quietly gentle. Then there's Gulangyu, the island whose name is spoken like a sigh.
哎，对，因为我是在这边长大，你看我讲话带闽南腔很重啊。
我看您长相，我觉得像本地的。
对啊，本身我就是本地人啊。我们家就住在这一小块嘛。
那祖祖辈辈都在这儿吗？
是啊，我们以前是移民啊，打鱼的移民啊。
Less than 2 square kilometers, yet it once pulled the world to its shores.
当年这边是租界，有13国家领事馆都建立在这边的。等一下我们去看日本、德国、西班牙、美国、荷兰，
那些都是那个侵略过咱们的吧？
对。
In the age of sail, it was a safe harbor for ships from east and west. In the era of colonial rivalry, 13 nations planted their consulates here.
这个是1917年以前的西班牙领事馆，这个是100多年前的日本领事馆，现在是厦门退休老师的宿舍楼。哦，这边是当时的德国领事馆，它建办。
德国领事馆旧址，这个是以前的那个英国领事馆旧址，然后这是七匹狼老板的房子。
这个是英国亚细亚的，2只眼睛像猫头鹰，你看窗户。
Today, it's called a Museum of World Architecture, not as a tourist slogan, but as living proof that even through conflict, cultures can learn to live side by side. No cars are allowed on the island. The pace of life slows. It's as if the city has granted it an extra heartbeat of calm. And here's the truth. For all its openness to the world, Gulangyu doesn't try to impress you. It just holds its sea breeze, its history, its warmth, in the spaces between its narrow streets.
沙场面，还要翻过来看。 这个是炒菜，这个是它里面鲍鱼的，什么都有，海鲜什么都有。
啊，
玉包
啊，这个少。看看。芋头。哦，里面好像是肉呀。
I've seen the faces of many cities. Some are shaped by their landscapes, but Amoy has turned the city itself into the landscape worth remembering. The scent of shaw-cha noodles in the morning, a breakfast both comforting and alive. The bamboo shoot thumps drifting across century-old arcades, blurring the line between tourists and locals. The fishing port blood running again in Chappaquy's young streets, uniting strangers over food and laughter. The free rice in a university cafeteria, steaming with the belief that no student should be left behind. The campus food streets ease homesickness, blending study with the flavors of life. The iron cannon that still watches the sea, a reminder that peace is never free. All these pieces, market and harbor, war and school, salt and ink, don't cancel each other out. They form a cord, a gentle one, but strong enough to last. The secret beauty of a city isn't in its postcard views, but in a way its people, with patient strength, live their lives into something bright. No matter the weather history has brought,